record listeners and followers. Welcome to another episode. This time I'm actually here with, I almost called her Faith, but it's actually Rebecca Kusunoki here. Hello. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. It's good to be back.
Now, we did an update with your dad on the last episode. Now it's time for an update with you. So, so tell everybody, especially me, what has been going on.
Well, let's see. So we left here in March, and wow, it was a trip. God has done amazing work in Uganda. And as I had previously said on my first podcast, so my first time going back to Uganda was in November of 2024 with my parents. I'd always wanted to go back, and I wanted to work with kids. And I hadn't actually seen the feeding center until then. And when I loved it. I was able to just be able to hang out with the kids, help out with, the feeding center. And right towards the end of it, I felt like, I think this is, I felt like the Lord was saying that's what I was supposed to do. And so I came back with the plan of, okay, I am going to prepare myself and I'm going to go back and work at the feeding center with the kids, especially helping with like a little preschool curriculum. And so I think it was maybe like 2 weeks or a week and a half, 2 weeks after I'd been back that I got a call, and it was like, you are needed and you're needed now. And so the month to 2 months or however long I thought I was going to have to prepare myself became 2 weeks. And so then I was like, okay. And from then I became then a full-time missionary with them. So I went back in March as a full-time missionary with Anchored International. And man, it was a really, really, really good, stretching trip as far as my faith, as far as just being able to see the struggles, as far as being able to see God working. I also saw the enemy working double time. And so, as Dad mentioned in the last episode, the area that we work in is 97 Muslim. And then within that, witchcraft is a huge part of the community as well.
Yes.
And so, to my understanding is that you can't pass 5 houses without seeing a home with shrines. And so that's like how deeply witchcraft is rooted in this area. And I believe, to what I've been able to understand, is that our village that we're in is one of it's the second well-known area for witchcraft within the whole country. And so just being able to have that understanding kind of helped to be like, okay, well, it's not just like random stuff, but God is really rescuing these people, and God is using Anchored International, the church that we have there, the feeding center, because people are able to come in each and every day. The kids that are coming, we're able to share the gospel with the families. And every Thursday morning, we have family devotions where all the parents will come. We have a devotion, we'll present the gospel, and we'll ask if any of them want to receive the Lord. And a few have received the Lord, which has been amazing because most of these parents are of the Muslim background. And so the Lord has really been doing a major work as these families are seeing their kids being loved on, and and now some of them have been coming to the church, which is a huge part. And so the attack that's been coming to the feeding center as well as the church by the enemy has really just been like a fight back of what God's been doing. But the Lord has been faithful in just strengthening the workers and strengthening the church leaders. And it's been amazing to be a part of that. One of the big things that I really saw, well, actually two things that I was able to witness and be like, oh, the Lord was definitely in it, was the morning or the day after a ritual was performed against our the feeding center.
Yeah.
And this really freaked out a lot of our staff members, waking up to finding these things on the building, the tied up chameleon and the bag of feces and all of that, which is one of like the darkest witchcraft performances. And so it really freaked out the workers. But I just remember after hearing that and going out and seeing people just kind of standing around, and some of the workers were crying, and some people were just like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this. I felt like the Lord said, they did it in the dark, but I felt like the Lord said, they did it in the dark, but we need to praise in the light. And so I got a group of the workers that were there, those that wanted to, and we stood in a circle in front of the feeding center, and we just started leading. We just started singing and praising. And then right after that, we gathered everything that had been left on our around the building, and we set it on fire and just started praying and worshiping. And you could see people from the distance just kind of staring and watching and kind of seeing like what would happen. And I felt like the Lord was saying, rather than being so afraid, and fearing like what's happening, and allow my power to show. And so I felt like being able to worship the Lord and being able to just like give everything up to the Lord kind of gave the people the courage to be like, no, God is greater. And then it also became a witness to those around us. So after that, I felt like there was a peace that I don't know that would have been there. And I honestly was not that afraid. And I think it's because the Lord had been preparing me. And with my background, my family was very, before my adoption, my family was very much involved in witchcraft as well. And so, which is why accepting the Lord really was very impactful to me, because the Lord showed me his power against the power of Satan. And the two compared it, you can't even compare them. And so understanding the power that we have in Jesus Christ gave me the ability to just be like, no, you can't fear what the enemy does. Yes. Can he bring fear? Can he torment? Yeah, but that's all he can do.
Yeah.
Our soul belongs to the Lord. And
yes.
So that has been one of the major things. And then another thing was this second one is what really kind of scared me. With we had an incident with one of our one of the locals, which we actually had really trusted, and we kind of became like part of our family. And some things happened, and he had to be let go. And it was actually during morning devotion. We were all getting ready to have our staff devotion, sit down, and so we're all in the room and we're seated, and we're waiting for Dad to come in. Well, actually, Dad was in the room too.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to one of the workers. And all of a sudden I turned and I'm like, wait, where's Dad?
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden I hear like the screaming and yelling. And I was like, oh my gosh, is that so-and-so? And is my dad out there with him? And is my dad out there by himself?
Mm-hmm.
And so we all like get up and like kind of rush to the window. And I see my dad standing with this gentleman, and this gentleman is just like screaming and yelling, like pointing and all these things. And I was like, oh my goodness. And for a second, I really thought like he might have had a weapon on him and he was going to like attack my dad.
Yeah.
So that was one of like the only scary moments, like really scary moments, feeling like, oh my gosh. I know God called us here. I know God is in control, but like what's happening, is Dad going to be like, Yeah. And it just kind of really kind of took me back to all the missionary stories. Yeah. All the different missionaries and all the different persecutions and all the different sufferings that I read. And I remember talking to my parents after that, and I was telling my mom, it's so weird to be sitting here and being like, oh my goodness, the things that we're going through, the things that we're hearing and we're experiencing are things that I've read about missionary lives and things like that. She goes, and I said, and I always thought these missionaries were so extraordinary and so spiritual and so gifted and I was like, and here we are, and I'm like freaking out, and Mom goes, that's how they felt. They were just normal people like you, but people that heard God's voice and followed the Lord, and whatever happened, the Lord allowed it. And their stories have gone down to where, like, and it's just crazy. Yeah. And I like David Livingston and George Mueller, one of my favorite missionaries. And Hudson, and just so many missionaries that, with all the different things that they suffered. It was so weird. I've always just read about them, and I've always just been so, inspired by them. But I never really understood the things that they went through as missionaries until this last trip. And then just to be able to be like, oh my gosh, God really is so faithful. God really is so true. And his word is so living and powerful, and that there's nothing that we could ever face without him guiding us through it. Yeah. And so I think just being able to like put that into today's and putting into like my everyday life living in Naluko was just really a very powerful moment. And so now I know that it doesn't matter what we do face. It doesn't matter what happens, as long as God has called, and I know that he has called 100%, like there's no question about it, that I'm in his hands, and he's going to protect my family. He's going to protect me. He's going to protect my dad and mom. And so ever since then, I've just been like, okay, God, we're waking up. What is it that you have for us? Who are we going to face today? And what child's going to come in? And what am I going to teach the kids? Am I even going to teach? Or am I just going to sit and play with the kids? Or am I just going to sit and cry with a kid that's like, has malaria and typhoid and can barely, keep their eyes open, Right. So I know that's a lot, but just I just feel like God has really shown his faithfulness
Absolutely.
to me through this trip.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, what prompts, like, okay, you know, people are like, okay, I'm called to this, I'm called to that. You know, how do you know that God has called you to become a full-time missionary?
Okay, so right before I left, so after we came back. So from the November trip, we came back in January.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came back in January, I knew I was supposed to go back,
mm-hmm.
but I didn't know like when exactly I was going back.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like I said earlier, about 2 weeks into being back, my brother called me and said, "Hey, we really need you to be back." And 2 of the ladies are leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Both are leaving on maternity leave,
mm-hmm.
and I have no one. And I was like, okay. And he goes, they're the ones that take care of the kids. What we had talked about you helping with them is actually, I need someone in that right now because they're gone.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, well, let me just pray about it. And he goes, I don't think you need to pray about it. I feel like this is the Lord saying, you're to come back. And so I said, okay, well, let me just pray about it still. And so I, through my devotions, and the thing was, I always asked the Lord to give me at least a word or two
mm-hmm.
in his word, whether it be, you know, in my devotions or as I'm talking to my parents or even talking to people, to friends and stuff. And so I remember, but after that, I prayed with mom and dad, and
mm-hmm.
there was a scripture, oh my goodness, that the Lord gave my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, oh, well, I think, and I said, you think that's for me? And she goes, I believe so. I said, okay. So then I had my Bible study with women at my girls' Bible study that I went to, and the Lord, and I felt I got that same scripture from the girls, and I was like, oh my goodness, okay, so I guess I guess the Lord is saying, okay, we are to go. So then I started really kind of looking, and I quickly put together like a fundraising like letter, like a support letter. But I really didn't know what to put in it because everything was so fast.
Yeah.
And I quickly put something together, and within like maybe a week, the Lord provided the money for my ticket.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, someone, you know, the Lord put it on someone's heart to pay for my ticket. I said, all right, so the ticket is taken care of.
Yeah.
And then I think like a week or two later, somebody else sent me money, and I was able to, so airfare was taken care of, and then something else was taken care of. And I was like, okay, so I'm going. And that's when we were like, okay, so I signed on to go fully with Anchorage International. And then just, we left in March and didn't come back until the 3rd. We got back June 3rd. And like this whole, I felt like the Lord was like, yep, I want you on this trip. I want you on this trip. And so with all the craziness that was going on during the trip, I never felt like, oh, I don't think I should have been here. Oh, like I honestly felt like if God had not taken me there, if the Lord had not called me, I would have been like terrified out of my mind. But there was a crazy amount of peace that I was feeling that I definitely knew was not of me, because not only was I dealing with whatever was going on there in the mission field, but I had personal issues going on too, which was one of the first reasons that I actually went to Africa with my parents, because I wasn't able to stay home. back in November. And so the Lord brought healing while serving him. And then the peace that I wouldn't have otherwise had with everything else that I was dealing personally, plus what I was seeing in the mission field. So, I mean, I don't really know other than that. God's calling was very evident in the peace that he gave me through it all.
Yeah, when it comes to callings like that, there's going to be some sacrifices that you're going to have to make, or people make.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know when I accepted the calling into full-time vocational ministry, it's like, okay, hey, I'm taking a pay cut.
Yeah.
I'm taking a huge pay cut. But at the end of the day, because even several people that I know that accepted those calls, hey, it's a huge pay cut, but you know what? It's investing in these people's souls in eternity. And the thing is about ministry, especially for a lot of us, it's like, okay, hey, you know what? We really rely on the Lord to provide us resources. For you personally, Rebecca, like what is like the main need as far as like you accepting a full-time call as a missionary? What is kind of like the main thing that, you've been praying for?
So financially, my parents have been the ones carrying me. And
they're full-time missionaries too.
They're full-time missionaries too. Yeah. So that's been a struggle, honestly. Yeah. And it's hard. One of the big things was, I always mix the names. Is it Elijah or Elisha? Elijah, I think, in with the ravens.
Yes.
The ravens would bring him what he needed, the meal he needed every morning. And then, when the brook dried, then the Lord moved him on. And so I don't know what that means, but that was one of the scriptures that God gave me. And I felt like that was just like, okay, trust me. Trust me for your daily provision. Going from working my 9 to 5 to now being a full-time missionary, I am, just learning to trust in that the Lord provides, as, the tickets to go back and forth and being able to just know that.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because people that, just regularly attend church and not really investing in what's going on in the church are not realizing that, okay, hey, these are the struggles, that other ministries are experiencing. And, because they tend to make it, okay, hey, it's a check off the list. I attend church on Sunday. But then what does Psalm 92 say? Those who are planted in the house of the Lord will flourish in the courts of heaven. And so I think too, where, for those of you that are listening to, I think in our last episode when, this is not an obligation, but it's part of our worship. And when God gives us these resources, all these resources that we receive, whether it's from our income or anything like that, it comes from the Lord and nothing else. And this is not our money, it's not your money, it's not my money or anybody else. It's not even the government's money. It's literally the Lord's money. And he's the one providing all those resources. And where I'm going with that is what Gary mentioned in the last episode, $5 for a cup of coffee compared to how much that can go as far as like for a family over in Uganda for a week. And so, and even too, I want to mention, I didn't even mention the last episode too, your subscriptions with Netflix, with Spotify, YouTube Premium. Why do you need YouTube Premium? I mean, just watch the ads for 15 seconds and you save your money. And you gotta, I gotta go premium. I gotta get Spotify Premium or anything like that. No, you don't. I'm sorry. These are just luxuries to have. And then all of a sudden you just throw money away. And so, and this is not to condemn people or to judge people that are doing that. But, I think I was reading Haggai the other day, one about building the temple, but the people's priorities were out of place and God was trying to correct them and all that, but they've suffered the consequences because they didn't do it in an orderly fashion. And what the Lord has prompted or has spoken to me through that is, where is your priorities at? Where are your priorities? And when it comes to your faith, when it comes to everything, is God your number one priority? Is God your number one source? Because we could declare it out of our mouths, but then our lives can make him like number 3 or number 4, not even number 2. And so, so where is their priority set at? And so, but hopefully that's an encouragement for you guys. And you heard Rebecca's testimony, and you'll hear about a bunch of others too. And if you would like to go to our website at anchoredrelief.org, all the information is there, how to give, how to know about us, or just read more about it. And even our blog, I think, is there too. And we also have our social media on Instagram. If you look us up at Anchor National Relief, and you'll be so blessed to see what the Lord is doing. Thanks to you. And I just want to say thank you guys for all you generous donors that have supported us financially. And you guys are seeing the fruit of it, and we're seeing the fruit of it. And it's thanks to you guys and how the Lord just prompted you guys to help support us. And it's not, and literally it's ultimately honor and glory to the Lord throughout all that. And Rebecca, and if you, first of all, if you want to know about Rebecca's testimony and all that stuff, where she came from, you can go to our previous episodes. She shares one of the most heart-wrenching testimonies I've ever heard, and just like how the Lord just redeemed her out of there, and where God has her now. So you could also actually donate directly to Rebecca. Actually, if you go to our Anchored Relief website, if you click on the donate button, you could actually find her name, and then just you give directly to her, because and to any missionary basically, but especially Rebecca. There's her page is right there, and just ask the Lord how you can bless her with, and that's just amazing, like how these resources that the Lord could give us an opportunity or options. So this is amazing. Rebecca, it's so good to see you, and be praying for her, be praying for Pastor Gary, be praying for every missionary like James and everybody else that's serving overseas and wherever, and same thing with so many people. So keep them in your prayers, and ask the Lord how He can use you. First of all, pray, give, and or go. That's our motto. So love you guys. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time on our next episode. Thank you.
Bye.